In this video right here, my Deontay Wilder Tyson Fury prediction video, I said that if the Wilder Fury fight is a low volume fight where there are multiple rounds in which there's only one or two punches difference between them, those rounds are probably going to be given to Deontay Wilder by the judges because of the politics of the situation. Because of the fact that he is the home fighter, he is the champion, he is the guy that Showtime have pumped a load of money into for this pay-per-view event. He is the person they're trying to build up as the next American Hope. Because of all that, in those rounds where there's only one or two punches to split them, they're probably going to give them to Wilder. And the excuse that they would use if presented with Compubox stats to show that Fury outlanded Wilder in whatever round by 2 punches or 1 punch, the excuse that they'll use or the rationale that they'll use is they'll say, oh, well, Deontay Wilder's punches were cleaner and more effective. That's why you don't score a fight with Compubox, because Compubox doesn't record how clean or effective the punches were. It just records how many punches landed. And even so, Compubox is not scientifically accurate. Compubox is just a rough guide. Mistakes are made. And that may be true, okay? But that's what the judges are probably going to tell you if they are presented with the Compubox statistics for this fight. That there were several rounds where there was only 1 or 2 punches between them, and they feel like Wilder's were the more clean and effective. You see? And in that scenario, that's what I spoke about in my prediction video. And that's why ultimately I picked Deontay Wilder to win on points, controversially or possibly a draw. That's what I said, word for word in the video several times, that it will be Wilder on points, possibly controversially, maybe even a draw, because of the politics of the situation. In a low volume fight, it favors the home fighter. That's historically been proven time and time again. In a low volume fight where there's only a couple of punches to separate them in a round, it favors the home fighter. I'm not saying it should favor. I'm not saying I agree with it. I'm just saying that's the way it is. That's what I expected, etc. Now let's have a look at the actual stats to show you guys that what I was talking about pre-fight is exactly what happened. Overall, Tyson Fury landed 84 punches compared to Deontay Wilder landing 71, and that includes body shots, okay? So 84 punches for Tyson Fury overall, over 12 rounds, and 71 for Wilder. That is way below the heavyweight average, way below. It's also below Wilder and Fury's personal averages per round. The heavyweight average per round is 15 punches. Deontay Wilder's average per round is 17 punches. And this is 17 punches landed, not thrown, okay? So Wilder's average is 17.6. Fury's average is slightly below the heavyweight average, which is 13. And there are averages for other people here. Joshua lands about the heavyweight average, which is 15 a round. Miller is way above the heavyweight average at 23, which is what we would expect. Dillian Whyte is also above the heavyweight average in terms of punches landed. And people like Joseph Parker and Kubrat Pulev are well below the heavyweight average in terms of punches landed per round. Now, remember those statistics. Wilder lands 17.6 on average. Fury lands 13 punches around on average, and the heavyweight average is 15. Let's look at this fight. According to Compubox, neither Wilder nor Fury landed the heavyweight average of 15 punches in any of the rounds for the entire fight. Neither Wilder nor Fury landed their own personal averages in any of the rounds for the entire fight. Fury's personal average per round is 13 punches. Not once in the entire fight does he land 13 punches in a round. Wilder's average per round is 17 punches. Not once in the entire fight does he land 17 punches in a round. So both guys were landing way below the heavyweight average and way below their own personal average. And there are multiple different reasons for that. Generally, the higher level the opponent that you're in with, the less punches you're going to land on him. That's generally the case. But be that as it may, this scenario of a low volume fight where there's only 1 or 2 punches difference in a lot of the rounds, it favors the home fighter. I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying it should, but it's what you can expect. And on top of that, in a fight where there's only 1 or 2 punches separating them in a lot of the rounds, can you really call it a robbery? I'm going to leave that as an open question for you guys to answer. Some people say you can. In most situations, I say it's a little disingenuous to call a fight a robbery when there's multiple rounds where there's only 1 or 2 punches difference. Generally, I'm not saying that's the case for this fight because, again, I want to go watch the fight again and score it, which I will. But generally, when there's only 1 or 2 punches difference in many of the rounds, I don't like calling it a robbery because you have to take into account the quality of the punches landed, how clean and effective they were, not just who landed 1 or 2 shots more. You see, that's why I shy away from calling most fights robberies. You know, fans are very quick to shout robbery. I'm not so quick to do that. There's very few videos on my channel where I call out a fight as being a robbery. Very few. Because I'm not so reactionary when it comes to scoring as most boxing fans are. But like I say, let's look through this fight round by round in terms of total punches landed according to Compubox. In the first round, Fury landed 2 more than Wilder. Second round, he landed 2 more than Wilder. Third round, he landed, well, a lot more than Wilder there, right? Like 7 more. Fourth round, he landed 2 more than Wilder. Fifth round, he landed 1 more than Wilder. Sixth round, he landed 2 more than Wilder. Seventh round, he landed 2 less than Wilder. Eighth round, he landed 1 more than Wilder. Ninth round, he landed, 6 less than Wilder. 10th round, he landed 9 more than Wilder. 11th round, he landed 1 more than Wilder. 12th round, he landed 6 less than Wilder. So as you can see, in terms of punches landed, there are multiple rounds there where Fury only landed 1 or 2 punches more than Deontay Wilder. Now, in theory, on paper, you would imagine Fury should win those rounds. But the judges are not counting the punches. The judges might not in their head realize that Fury landed 1 or 2 punches more. And even if they do, they might be thinking, well, Wilder's were the more clean and effective. And again, I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying I agree with the judges. I'm just saying this is the scenario that you should have expected in a low volume fight, given the circumstances. This is what you should expect. This is why when you go away from home and you fight a champion in his backyard, you have to rip the title away from him. You can't be climbing off the canvas twice. You can't be having multiple rounds where you're only landing 1 or 2 punches more than he is, because they're going to use any excuse to give those rounds to the other guy. That's what they're going to do. You have to rip it from, you have to beat the crap out of him and put him on the canvas twice. You can't be climbing off the canvas twice yourself. And look, I'm not criticizing Fury. That's not what I'm doing. What I'm saying is people shouldn't be shocked by the result. When they called out a draw, I wasn't shocked because a draw is exactly one of the things I said was very possible. I said that my prediction was Wilder wins on points, possibly controversially, maybe even a draw. I repeated that several times in the video because I was expecting this kind of fight. Low volume, where there isn't much to split them in a lot of the rounds in terms of punches landed. That's how it played out. And it was to Fury's detriment. You know, if he had managed to stay off the canvas, at least one of those times, he would have been champion. But he didn't manage to stay off the canvas, and you have to give Wilder credit for eventually getting through and landing the shots. So, yeah, the aim of this video is to look at things dispassionately and analyze the statistics objectively. That's what it's about. Fury landed more punches throughout the fight, but not substantially more. 84 to 71. And when you break down, let's see power punches here. Power punches in the first round, they were even. Power punches in the second round, even. Power punches in the third round, Fury landed 2 more. Power punches in the fourth, Fury landed 2 more. Power punches in the fifth, even. Power punches in the sixth, Fury landed 1 more. Power punches in the seventh, Fury landed 1 more. Power punches in the eighth, Fury 1 more. Ninth, Wilder landed 4 more power punches in the ninth. In the 10th, Fury landed 8 power punches more. In the 11th, even. In the 12th, Fury actually landed Wilder landed 4 more power punches in the 12th than Fury. Power punches are often seen by judges as more clean and effective. They're often interpreted, let me say, by some judges as being more clean and effective than jabs. Were Fury's jabs hard enough to overrule the power punches that Wilder landed in some of the rounds? They probably were. But again, this is the gray area that the judges are going to use to favor the home fighter. So you got to take it out of the judge's hands when you're in a situation like Fury. And I'm sure he tried to, I'm not criticizing him, but I'm just saying, when people are so shocked and horrified by the decision, don't be shocked. Don't be shocked. And there's also the fact that, you got people running around saying that this was a boxing masterclass by Tyson Fury. Under the circumstances, it was a tremendous performance by Tyson Fury. I've got no idea how he managed to get up in the 12th round. Even his own family and his own corner thought he wouldn't get up. So massive props to Tyson Fury for performing the way that he did under the circumstances, given all that he's been through. But to call it a boxing masterclass, nah, man, it wasn't a boxing masterclass. He boxed well for stretches in the fight and outboxed Wilder in nip and tuck rounds. But in a boxing masterclass, you don't get dropped twice and nearly knocked out. In a boxing masterclass, you're not only landing 1 or 2 punches around more than your opponent. That's not a boxing masterclass. A boxing masterclass, as I've said before, would be Billy Joe Saunders against Lemieux or Fury in some of his previous fights, but not Fury Wilder. That was not a boxing masterclass. If the Fury who fought Klitschko was in there, you probably would have seen a boxing masterclass. But the version of Fury that we got, no. Do I think he won the fight? Yes, I do. I thought he won the fight by several rounds, although I haven't scored it. That was the impression I had after watching the 12 rounds live. I felt like Fury won that by a good few rounds. But did I feel like it was a masterclass? No, I didn't feel that. I feel like he just did enough in most of the rounds to nick the rounds. And he had a couple big rounds. And he kept, nicking rounds by 1 or 2 punches landed more. And a lot of braggadocious behavior and just looking like the more confident fighter. He was winning rounds by doing that. And then he did have a couple big rounds, but then he got dropped a few times, and that makes it a lot closer, So the impression I had after 12 was that Fury won it, but I certainly wasn't shocked by the result, the draw, the split decision. That's what I was expecting, watching the fight at the time, Anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comment section below about these Compubox statistics. Again, I'm not here to defend the judges whatsoever. I thought Fury won. But the Compubox statistics show that there wasn't much to split them in a lot of the rounds. It is what it is. Let me know what you think of Compubox. Let me know what you think of their heavyweight comparison here with the top heavyweight fighters. This is from like a year ago, to be fair. So the stats might be a little bit different now. But certainly when you look at someone like Miller being so far above everybody else in terms of punch volume, and even Dylan White, you start to think that this is probably pretty accurate. And again, for heavyweights, I reckon it's more accurate than it is for welterweights, because it's easier to count heavyweight punches because they throw less and they're slower. So anyway, let me know how you feel, people. It's happening. I'm out. Join me on Patreon. I upload a minimum of 2 podcasts every single week. covering a wide variety of controversial topics, as well as live stream Q&A sessions. Take a look on screen right now at some of the podcasts I've produced so far. For just $3 a month, the equivalent of about £2 a month, you get access to all my new podcasts and my entire back catalogue of past podcasts, including my popular Confessions of a Nightclub Bouncer series. You can listen on your computer or on your smartphone or tablet by downloading the Patreon app from the Google Play Store or the App Store for free. The Patreon app also allows you to download each podcast in MP3. For less than the price of a cup of coffee, you get access to dozens of hours of exclusive content. It's easy to sign up, there's no contract, and you can cancel at any time. So come and join our community of free and critical thinkers by signing up with me here on Patreon today.